So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Alright? The purpose of this lecture series is very simple. We want to cover your current affairs or revise if you have already covered your current affairs. The other purpose or the other advantage of this lecture series is that you get your much needed MCQ practice. If MCQ practice is your daily habit, well, then you won't struggle in your prelims exam next year. Okay, so make sure you just spare 10 minutes with me in this lecture series where we cover 4 to 5 MCQs from every day's current affairs. All right. Okay, so today we are going to be covering the current affairs of 22nd August 2024, and here it is. We'll start straight away with question number 1. Consider the following statements. Upper layers of lunar surface are made up of minerals like olivine and pyroxene. Moon was formed 4.2 to 4.3 billion years ago due to an asteroid collision with the Earth. Chandrayaan-3 rover Vikram has two instruments, AXPS, LIBS. How many of the above statements are correct? Okay. So recently, Chandrayaan-3's rover, you know that Chandrayaan-3 had a lander and a rover, right? So it had a lander component, it had a rover component. The name of the lander was Vikram. The name of the rover was Pragyan. Okay, so Vikram is not the name of the rover, and because of that, this statement is false. The name of the rover is Pragyan. Now, aboard Pragyan, there are two instruments. Okay, one instrument is called Alpha X-ray spectrometer, AXPS. Okay, so Pragyan has two instruments on it. The second is called laser induced breakdown spectroscope. This is called LIBS. Okay, so if it was written Pragyan over here, third statement would have been correct. But because it is Vikram, that is why third statement is false. But alpha ray X-ray spectrometer actually sent data back to the Earth. Okay, it collected some data from the lunar surface and it sent that data back to the Earth. And after analysis of this data, it was found that at one point of time, when during the initial years of Moon was actually covered by a hot layer of liquid magma or molten magma, okay, which solidified eventually. Okay, when it solidified, the upper layers of the lunar surface was occupied by lighter minerals, which were made up of calcium and sodium, and the heavier minerals, which were made up of silicon and magnesium, they sank. Okay, so what happened was, after the molten material solidified, heavier minerals made up of silicon and magnesium, they sank down, they went down and made the inner layers, and the lighter minerals, they came up and they made the upper layers. Okay, olivine and pyroxene are minerals of silicon and magnesium. So olivine and pyroxene form deeper layers. Upper layers are formed by calcium and sodium. Okay, so this is also false. This is true. Moon was formed 4.2 to 4.3 billion years ago due to an asteroid collision. This is absolutely correct. All right. Okay. Consider the following regarding credit and deposit growth in banks. In recent times, deposit growth has fallen behind credit growth in banks. Decline in deposit growth is due to people's preference of other saving instruments like stock market. Current and savings account deposits are low-cost source of funds for banks. Okay, which of the above statements are correct? So recently, RBI Governor and Finance Minister in Nirmala Sitharaman, both of them said that this is problematic. That credit loans given by banks is growing. Credit is growing by around 13.7%, whereas deposits in these banks from which they give loans is growing by around 10%. Now, banks are giving more loans than they are receiving deposits, and this is problematic because where does the money come from for banks? What do banks do with deposits? They take deposits and then they loan it out. All right. So yes, this is true, and both finance minister and RBI governor say that deposit growth has fallen behind credit growth in recent times. Now, banks are providing loans, but people are not depositing money in banks. Why? Because people think that they have better saving avenues like stock market. Okay, why to put your money in fixed deposit when you can get better return in stock market, gold, right? So people are not depositing that much because they have better avenues now. This is also correct. Now, this is problematic for banks because money through deposits, it's actually a low cost source of funds for banks. Money in current account, deposits in current account, savings account is very low cost form of funding for banks. So banks generally rely on these deposits to provide loans because this improves their interest margins. So this is also correct. The answer to this question would be D. All right. Question number 3. Which of the following statements regarding orangutans are correct? Their status in IUCN Red List is endangered. Orangutans are largest arboreal mammals and are only found in the rainforests of Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. They share 96.4% of their genes with humans. Okay. So let's talk about orangutans. Orangutans are the largest arboreal mammals. What are arboreal mammals? Arboreal mammals are those mammals that live on trees. Okay, like monkeys or apes, various forms of apes. So arboreal mammals are those which live on trees, and orangutans are the largest among them. Okay. Now, orangutans are only found in the rainforests of the islands of Borneo and Sumatra. So the rainforests of the islands of Borneo and Sumatra, orangutans are only found there. Now, these rainforests are shared by only 3 countries: Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. Therefore, orangutans are only found in these 3 countries, nowhere else. Okay, so this is correct. Yes, they are highly intelligent and they share 96.4% of their DNA with humans. This is absolutely correct. But their population is declining at a very rapid rate, and that is why in the IUCN Red List, it is categorized as critically endangered, not even endangered, critically endangered. So this is false. Oh, the options are not great over here. All right. It was 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. So the answer is B, 2 and 3. Okay. And last, with which of the following countries Ukraine does not share its borders? Poland, Belarus, Moldova, Slovakia, Hungary. So you have to tell with which country Ukraine does not. Does not is important. Does not share its border. 1 and 2 only, that means Poland and Belarus. 2 and 3 only, that means Belarus and Moldova. 1 and 3 only, that means Poland and Moldova, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now look, the correct answer in this also, the options were a bit problematic. The correct answer is it shares borders with all of these countries. As you can see over here, Ukraine shares border with Belarus, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova, and Russia over here. So Ukraine actually shares borders with 7 countries. These are those 7 countries: Belarus, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova, Russia. All right? Okay. That's it. We will only cover 4 MCQs from 22nd August, and with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you are consistent and regular with this lecture series. So, on that note, that you are going to be consistent and regular with this lecture series, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.